European leaders have arrived in Kiev to push for a 30-day ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia.
Pakistan says retaliatory strikes are underway after it accused India of firing ballistic missiles targeting its air bases in the early hours of Saturday. Thousands gathered in the Slovak capital Bratislava to protest against Prime Minister Robert Fico's trip to Russia to attend World War II Victory Day parades. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee says a new system for the distribution of aid in Gaza backed by President Trump has been launched and is set to begin very soon.
European leaders have arrived in Kiev as they push for a 30-day ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia. The leaders of France, Germany, Poland and the United Kingdom arrived together on Saturday, meeting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. French President Emmanuel Macron told local media that, quote, the aim is now a 30-day ceasefire, not a 3-day truce. During their visit, they laid flowers at a makeshift flag memorial for fallen Ukrainian soldiers at Kiev's Independence Square. In March, the United States proposed an immediate 30-day truce in the war, which Ukraine accepted, but the Kremlin denied. Now, progress is being made for a future so-called coalition of the willing that could potentially deploy troops to Ukraine to police any future peace agreement with Russia.
Pakistan says India fired ballistic missiles at military bases inside Pakistan in the early hours of Saturday morning. Islamabad says the attacks targeted 3 air bases, the Nur Khan base in the garrison city of Rawalpindi, the Murid base in Chakwal, and the Rafiq base in the Jang district of the eastern Punjab province. Pakistan's army spokesperson says most of the missiles were intercepted, adding that the country's Air Force assets were all safe. Spokesperson Ahmed Sharif also called the attacks a provocation of the highest order. State-run Pakistani media say retaliatory strikes are underway, reporting that the army is targeting multiple locations in India. Tensions soared between the nuclear-armed South Asian nations after an attack in Pahalgam in Indian-administered Kashmir claimed the lives of 26 people on the 22nd of April. New Delhi launched Operation Sindoor on Wednesday, firing missiles at several Pakistani locations, to which Islamabad retaliated. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has urged both parties to de-escalate, stressing that Washington will do what it can to achieve peace through diplomatic channels. Thousands of protesters gathered in Freedom Square in the Slovak capital Bratislava to voice their objection to Prime Minister Robert Fico's trip to Russia. Fico was the only leader of a European Union country to travel to Moscow for Victory Day parades marking the 80th anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. Protesters chanted, "We've had enough, Slovakia is Europe," and "Stay there," as they condemned their leader for abandoning Europe and siding with Russia. Fico said in a video message that his objective was to create a relationship of, quote, normal and friendly cooperation with Russia. Protests began in December after Fico made his first trip to Moscow to meet with Putin to discuss gas deliveries. The Slovak leader is known for his pro-Russian views. He's routinely challenged the European Union's policies over Ukraine. He's also previously threatened to pull his country out of both the EU and NATO on several occasions. The United States ambassador to Israel has announced that a new system for the distribution of aid in Gaza has been launched and is set to begin, quote, very soon. Ambassador Mike Huckabee says the plan is designed to alleviate the dire humanitarian catastrophe in the enclave and ensure help reaches those most in need. The U.S. diplomat says that various charities, nonprofit organizations, and even governments will partake in the new aid mechanism. In this new plan, Israel is to be assigned with securing the delivery of aid. It comes after Israel had accused Hamas repeatedly of looting aid meant for civilians and cited it as the reason behind their ongoing blockade. The plan drew criticism as many believe this amounts to Israel hijacking the aid movement, raising concerns on who's to be granted access. Although Huckabee has invited the UN groups to participate, they say they'll only be involved in efforts in line with UN principles.